Hey, this is Andrew Brown from Exam Pro, and we are looking at digital signatures and signing. So what is a digital signature? It's a mathematical scheme for verifying the authenticity of digital messages or documents, and a digital signature gives us tamper evidence. So imagine you had objects on your desk. If you took something like baby powder, which is a fine grained dust, and spread it over your desk, if someone were to move your items, you would clearly see that they have been moved because there'd be an outline between the powder and the area that had no powder underneath the objects. And that's an example, a real world example of tamper evidence. So it's going to answer, did someone mess or modify the data? Is this data not from the expected sender? That's what these tamper evidence are telling us. There are three algorithms to digital signatures, and so there is a visual example that I got from Wikipedia. Couldn't be bothered to make an image today, but the idea is you have key generation, so generates a public and private key. So there are our two keys, public and private. And so we have the signing. So this is the process of generating a digital signature with a private key and the inputted message. So we have our private key and we have our inputted message, and then you can see that it's attached to our message here. You have signing verification. So verify the authenticity of a message with a public key. So when it's received by the other person, we use the public key to determine that it is from the person we think that it's from and that it hasn't been tampered with. So a very famous example of this would be SSH. So this is used for logging into remote virtual machines, and we use a public and private key to authorize remote access to that machine. And what you would do is you'd probably use the Ssh Keygen command. This is a very well-known command, and I have it memorized because I've used it so many times, and so will you. And notice that it has a -T, so it says that we want to take RSA as the input. That is the type of algorithm that we are using to generate out that, okay? And remember earlier on when we were talking about asymmetric keys where there was two keys and we mentioned RSA, that's the same key here, okay? One other thing I want to mention is code signing. Just because when you hear signing, you might see code signing, what the difference is. This is just when you use a digital signature to ensure computer code has not been tampered with. All right, so if you have a repository, people might try to inject bad code into your repo, and this is one way to prevent it, okay?